So hey YouTube, so I'm going to try and do this in one go because A, I'm really excited, and B, because dinner is happening downstairs very soon. I need to be off to eat and whatnot. Okay, so pardon for my hair appearing a bit mank. It's snowing outside, which is why I'm excited, because it never snows here. I'm also kind of terrified because it never snows here. But it's really cool. I'm going to insert a bit of footage now. Wasn't that amazing? It was so cool. Okay, so my embarrassing story, which I was meant to upload earlier this week, but got really busy. So anyway, as I said last week, Miss Smartica shared an embarrassing story about something that happened to her, except this one happened in a club, as embarrassing stories I think quite often do. So when I was 18, I went clubbing with my friends. I think it was probably the first time I ever went clubbing. And we went to this really tiny bar that happened to have an oval bar. So you could, I guess, hop on either side to order drinks and whatnot. Anyway, so I was on one side. I think I was waiting with a friend while she got her drink. And cheesily enough, I looked up across the way on the bar. There was this fairly good-looking guy. We, you know, met eyes and had a brief moment. Yeah, so anyway, I, having no social awareness, especially with boys, I hadn't had a boyfriend yet. And I was very freaked out by the said moment, and I was like, oh, that couldn't possibly have been a moment, but that did stop me from staring him for the entire time that we were there. Anyway, we decided that we would go to a different club, so we left, and we realised that the guy that I had this moment with and his friend, they were kind of following us, which at the time you don't really think is kind of creepy, but looking back at it, that was kind of freaky. But yeah, so they were following us to this other club, basically, but trying not to make it look like they were following us. So we turned up at this other club. It was very cool. Me and my friends were dancing. We had a drink, and we were standing in the, I guess, the middle of the dance floor with kind of our drinks and kind of dancing, when this guy that I had been pretty much staring at the entire night came over, and it's so loud that you can't really ask the question, do you want to dance with me, without shouting it in the person's ear, which is a little bit too close and you don't really want to do that. So he kind of gave the look like, do you want to dance? And me being really socially awkward and not sure what to do around boys. By the way, I went to an all-girls college, so I was very freaked out by all of this. So I didn't know what to do, and he continued to stand there really awkwardly, and I basically ignored him. I freaked out and just went, no, shut down, looked at him, continued to dance, looked at him, continued to dance with my friend, and kind of used her as a human shield, essentially. Obviously, he went, alright, and he left, and I was quite mortified that that was my reaction, just to ignore him. That's kind of not the most embarrassing thing. The embarrassing thing is that, because Wellington is so small, is that you do tend to see everyone at some time or another, even if they're strangers. You just start to recognise strangers. So this guy, I continue to not know his name. I've seen him around a lot in town, and he recognises me, I recognise him, and it's still really awkward because I essentially rejected him in the most awkward way you possibly could by just ignoring him. But not in a confident way, in a I don't know what to do in the social situation, I'm shutting down way. So what was particularly embarrassing was this one evening we went out, me and my friends, we were walking along the street when I felt someone accidentally bump into me, and the guy turned around and said sorry, and I realised it was the guy that I'd had the moment with and then awkwardly ignored and rejected. So he accidentally bumped into me, turned around, said sorry, and continued to walk on with his friend, and I went, "It's you!" really loudly, just in my surprise and shock of seeing him and the fact that, you know, he had like bumped into me. I freaked out again and just went, "It's you," in this kind of half excited voice, because recognition is exciting. Anyway, so he turned around and kind of gave me this slight scowl because I think he thought that I was really angry and had yelled at him. And that was mortifying because I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, melt into the ground. And then obviously my friends were very curious because I don't think they remembered what had happened or whether I'd actually ever mentioned this particularly embarrassing situation to them. Now that I've recounted it, it doesn't seem as embarrassing in the big scheme of things, but for me that was really embarrassing because I've seen him again, and yeah, I do tend to see him quite often. I haven't seen him lately, but I'm really, you know those moments that you have with a particular person, you maybe bump into them a lot, but you don't actually know them. You might not have even met them. But I'm half terrified of ever actually meeting this person because I know being me, I will bring it up. I will bring it up and be like, I know you. Do you remember when... Just because that's just what I do. It's part of my awkwardness that I overshare or I bring up stuff like weird stories, like I'm pretty sure I've seen you somewhere. That sort of thing. Anyway, comment, video, response, whatever to that, and I will bring you another video hopefully sooner than a week and a half, which I think tends to be my trend at the moment. So yes, I will see you guys next week, and I will be off to dinner now. Bye. It's snowing and it's so exciting. Snow just went into my mouth and it's going down my jacket, which is unpleasant.